Naham tvam bhasma satkuryam striyam santani sati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Brihaspati said, "You foolish woman, your womb, which was meant for me to impregnate, has been impregnated by someone other than me. Immediately deliver your child. Immediately deliver it. Be assured that after the child is delivered, I shall not burn you to ashes. I know that although you are unchaste, you wanted a son. Therefore, I shall not punish you." Purport. Tara was married to Brihaspati, and therefore, as a chaste woman, she should have been impregnated by him. But instead, she preferred to be impregnated by Soma, the moon god, and therefore she was unchaste. Although Brihaspati accepted Tara from Brahma, when he saw that she was pregnant, he wanted her to deliver a son immediately. Tara certainly very much feared her husband, and she thought she might be punished after giving birth. Thus, Brihaspati assured her that he would not punish her, for although she was unchaste and had become pregnant illicitly, she wanted a son. That's the end of purport. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter, King Pururava enchanted by Urvashi. So that's in the 9th canto, these stories are given. And some of these stories are very bewildering, that how these things happen even in the planets of the demigods. So before we hear about the enchantment of Pururava, who was a great king, and Urvashi was a great Apsara from the heavenly planets, before that we are hearing about how Soma got enchanted by Brihaspati's wife Tara. So all these things happen in this material world, which is actually pervaded by Krishna's material energy, Maya. So, and Maya is very powerful. Duratyaya, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya, Mama Maya Duratyaya, Devi Esha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratyaya. This divine energy, Krishna refers to Maya as divine energy, Devi, because, of course, for the energetic source, there is no difference. The different types of energies that emanate from the source, they do not affect the source. The Supreme Source, Krishna, is actually the source of all energies. Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Shruyate. All the energies come from Him, but He is not affected by them. So in that sense, even material energy is Krishna's energy. So the example is given of the electrician. For electrician, there is only one electricity, but the same electricity can be used for heating and for cooling, totally opposite. So in the same way, Krishna has different energies, material and spiritual. So material energy can induce you to forget Krishna, and spiritual energy helps you to remember Krishna. But for Krishna, there is no difference. It's just His energies. So by the power of Maya, everyone is bewildered. So how in the beginning of the creation, we know when this universe came out of the body of Mahavishnu. Then Mahavishnu expanded himself into Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Garbhodakshai Vishnu enters each universe. There are innumerable universes. Then, as we hear from Bhagavatam, in the process of creation, from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu grows a lotus flower, and on top of the lotus flower, Lord Brahma is born. So Lord Brahma is also called Swayambhu. He is one of the Mahajans, Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu. So he is born not in a normal way, just for a normal birth you require a mother and a father. But for Lord Brahma, he was born on top of the lotus flower. And the father was Garbhodakshai Vishnu in one sense. He is the Supreme Father. But initially, Lord Brahma was born in that way without any mother in one sense. And then Brahma wanted to create. But for creation, you need some knowledge. So, source of all knowledge is Krishna or Vishnu. So, Lord Brahma was given knowledge by Lord Vishnu. And it's mentioned by Prabhupada in one of the purports that Lord Brahma is called Veda Garbha. Veda means knowledge and Garbha means the womb, which means that Lord Brahma was impregnated by knowledge by the Supreme Lord. So that's why he's called Veda Garbha. So actually, in one sense, all the disciples get impregnated by the spiritual master by spiritual knowledge. This is a spiritual process. So that's why it is said, a disciple always keeps in touch with the spiritual master to gain that knowledge perpetually. So if the disciple forgets the instruction of the spiritual master, then there is no growth of bhakti. So just like within the womb, the child, the embryo is connected to the mother through the umbilical cord. And the child gets all the nourishment through that umbilical cord. So mother eats and the child is also nourished. So there is a connection. So in the same way, how Lord Brahma is called Veda Garbha, he is being nourished or impregnated by this knowledge through the Lord. So if we connect to the spiritual master through the instructions, we always get that nourishment and we can grow in bhakti. Sometimes it is said, like previously, in old days, the things were more pure. So the disciples were Shruti-dhara. So Guru would give instructions and disciples would hear, remember, and then they will follow. But now, as we know, the phones have become smart and people have become dumb. So we don't remember many things. We forget where the key is put. Yesterday I locked my key inside the room again, but luckily Uttam Bhakti Prabhu told me to keep a separate spare key in the key safe. So there's no problem now. But yeah, we forget. So to remember, we have to actually continuously get Guru's instruction through any means, through the books or through the lectures. So previously disciples would remember the instruction and follow it, but now that we don't have that sort of memory, so we have to use these Kali Yuga gadgets to hear Guru's lecture, because it's very rare that some disciple would always be with Guru. Even when the Guru is present on this planet, only few disciples can always be with the Guru as personal servant. But usually the personal servants also change every now and then. Why? Because it's very difficult to keep up with these senior devotees. The speed there is so much service required. Those who have personally served their spiritual master, they know it's very difficult. One way, the reason is they are so spiritually advanced, so they are moving through their spiritual life and their activities are very fast. And some spiritual masters are traveling quite a lot. So it's very difficult for a conditioned soul, so usually a young devotee, to keep up with that pace. And we have heard that Prabhupada, when he was in his 70s, and the speed he would walk, the disciples who were in 20s would find it difficult to keep up with his pace, even the walking pace. And then he was traveling around the world. So it's very rare for a disciple to be with Guru Vapu Sang for a long time. So that's why Vani Sang can be always taken advantage of. So if we are taking that advantage through hearing of lectures or remembering the personal instructions, then we are always connected. So as I was saying, these days we hear lectures through mobile phone or laptop like that, and we have our earphones. We used to have, we still have wired earphones, but most people these days use Bluetooth earphones or headphones. But if you, one time I was thinking like that, I was hearing my spiritual master's lecture and through a wired earphone. So I was thinking of this analogy, that a child is connected to the mother through umbilical cord, and I am connected to my spiritual master through this wired cord. That's the nourishment you get. So if we don't get that nourishment, then our bhakti will not develop properly. There may be a miscarriage. So that's the problem. So Lord Brahma got this knowledge from the Supreme Lord, and then he started creating. And he created all the planetary systems, various planets in this world, and he created the bodies of the 8,400,000 species. And that's a full range of bodies based on the consciousness. Bodies are based on consciousness. Because a living entity has a certain type of desire, so it gets a particular type of body to fulfill that desire. So that's why there are so many bodies. So the theory, so-called theory of evolution is faulty, because in that theory it says one species evolves to the next higher species. But the actual theory or actual fact is that the species were already created in the beginning of the creation, and the soul, which is the consciousness, moves. Consciousness is the symptom of the soul. So the soul moves from one body to another. Just like a person can go from one apartment to another based on his income level. That doesn't mean his old apartment changes to a new apartment. The old apartment remains there. Someone else comes in that apartment. So in the same way, the soul goes from one species to another. So this is a simple thing, and most intelligent scholars cannot understand, because they are not taking knowledge in a proper way. Knowledge coming from, every knowledge comes from the Supreme Lord, but there is a proper way to get it, and the proper way is through Guru Parampara. So a simple devotee who may not even be academically qualified, may not even have gone to school, but he or she can get this highest knowledge if he or she hears with faith from a bona fide guru. It's that simple. So Lord Brahma created all these species, And the bodies were made in a combination of different modes. So these, as Prabhupada used to give this example, there are 3 primary colors: blue, red, and yellow. And all other colors are formed by various permutation and combinations of those 3 primary colors. So in the same way, these 8,400,000 species are made by different combinations of 3 modes: sattva, rajas, and tama. So some species have more, they are predominantly in goodness, some in passion, some in ignorance, like that. So we are hearing about demigods, what's happening in the demigod region. So there, the demigods are predominantly in mode of goodness. But that does not mean they are in pure goodness. It's mixed. In the whole material world, we don't get pure modes. There's always mixture and competition. One mode is trying to defeat the other mode. So demigods are predominantly in mode of goodness, but sometimes they are overpowered by passion, and then mistakes happen. So we are hearing of one such mistake. Soma kidnapped the wife of his guru, or guru of the demigods. So a person who is supposed to be in mode of goodness is doing such a thing. So this is the power of Maya. When these lower modes overpower us, we forget what's right, what's wrong. And this happened throughout the history. We read in Bhagavatam. There's so many examples. So I was trying to remember some examples. There are heaps of examples. One class was given by, I think, Jagatarni Mataji about when Indra gets overpowered by lust and passion. And she gave lots of examples. I can't remember just of Indra. But there are other demigods also. So Soma, we have the example here. Then Indra's, one example given was, even he one time attacked Sita Devi in the form of a crow. So, and he gets bewildered and he tries to kill all Brajvasis. That also happened because of pride and envy. And then we have example of Brahma. He gets bewildered sometimes in Brahma Vimohan Leela, and one time in the form of a stag he tried to chase his own daughter. Then Lord Shiva, who is supposed to be free from 3 modes, but just to show that Lord Shiva is not supreme, we have the pastime of Mohini Murti. He got also bewildered, but that's slightly different as compared to these other demigods. Lord Shiva also chased after Mohini Murti. Then we have example of Agni given in Bhagavatam. There was a daughter of Ocean. She was getting married, and during the wedding ceremony, the bride and the bridegroom, they circumambulate the fire. So Agni Dev, who is the fire, he got attracted to the bride. How strange. So this is what happens. And then one example I could remember from Bhagavatam 6th canto again. One time Indra killed a Brahmana. In 6th canto there are 2 instances given. He killed Vritrasura, and one time he killed Vishwarup, who was temporarily acting as the priest. So he killed Vishwarup, and then because of the sin, to save himself from the sin of killing a Brahmana, he hid himself somewhere. But someone had to preside as the king of the heaven, so temporarily Nahusha came and presided as the king, as Indra. But then he also got bewildered. He thought, now I'm Indra, so maybe Indra's wife, I can take possession of her also. So all these examples are there, and this is in the demigod society. So in Bhagavad Gita, we have a very detailed description of the three modes and the influence of three modes. In 14th chapter, the title of 14th chapter is The Three Modes of Material Nature. So there is a lot of description over there. And then in 17th chapter also, and 16th chapter also, you can say the divine and demoniac nature. There's the effect of demoniac nature, the lower modes is given there. But in 17th and then 18th chapter, there's lots described about the three modes and their effect. And as the conclusion of discussion of the three modes, in the 40th text in 18th chapter, it's written that in the whole three worlds, even in the society of demigods, no one can escape the effect or the impact of the three modes. So even these demigods, so it's confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that even demigods are affected by these modes. So we have all these examples. And when they are covered by these modes, they become blind. See, they don't know what to do. And without wanting, they do an action which they regret later. So Arjuna actually asked this question to Krishna in 3rd chapter. Athaken prayukto ham papam charati purusha anichan api varshneya baladiva niyojita. That what is this power that makes us do things with a force, forcibly makes us do things which we don't want? What is this power? How does this happen? So Arjuna is asking this question. Because a saintly person, he may also make mistakes, but later he repents. But sometimes it's too late. So that's why Arjuna is asking this question. What is this force? And then, you know what Krishna replies? Kama esha, krodha esha, rajogun samudbhava, mahashano mahapapma vidyenam ihaverinam. So this is the greatest enemy, the lust, which is born of mode of passion, and later it degrades into anger in mode of ignorance. So these are the real enemies of human being. So these contaminations, lust, anger, greed, there are 6 enemies of mind. So lust, anger, greed, envy, madness, illusion. So these 6. And this is connected to Lord Krishna's birth. The Shad Garbhas, I think recently, within this week, I think someone mentioned in their class, I can't remember exactly what they mentioned and who mentioned. But anyway, they mentioned, but we'll discuss again some detail about it from Prabhupada's purport. So there were 6 sons of Kalanemi in some age, and they made a mistake, and their grandfather apparently was Hiranyakashipu. He cursed them that you will be killed by your own father. So they actually took birth as the first 6 sons of Devaki, in the womb of Devaki. So they are represented by these 6 enemies of the mind. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Matsarya, Mad. And then they were killed by Kamsa, who was their father in previous life. So Kamsa killed all these 6 children of Devaki. So Prabhupada writes that these Shad Garbhas represent these contamination, and Devaki represent Bhakti, and Kamsa represents fear. So he gives this analysis. This analysis actually is given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Prabhupada quotes in one of the purports in 10th canto. So he mentions that a devotee always has fear of material energy. Just like Devaki was very afraid of Kamsa, that Kamsa will kill my children. So a devotee always has this healthy fear that my devotion will be killed by material energy. And this is a good fear to have. If we don't have this fear, there is a problem. So because of this fear, those 6 contaminations are cleared. So this is the science behind how to remove all the contamination. By fearing material energy and staying away from the material energy as far as possible, which means we can't stay fully away from the material energy. It's saying like you have to stay dry while you are dunked inside water. We are in the material world, so the material energy is everywhere. Our body, mind, everything is made of material energy. But we can choose not to engage our consciousness in the material energy by choosing spiritual energy, the devotional service. So in that whole pastime, Devaki was afraid that Kamsa would kill the children, but that's how she got rid of those contamination in one sense. And then through bhakti, Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth in Devaki's womb. So tomorrow is Janmashtami, Krishna's appearance day. So if someone has to take birth the next day, where is that person a day before? Any guess? Huh? In the womb. So Krishna is in the womb today and he is outside of the womb also. Bahir Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha. He is inside also, outside also, he is everywhere. But just seeing in that, from that angle, that he is going to take birth tomorrow, so today is in the womb. We'll discuss one prayer by the demigods to Krishna when Krishna is in the womb. We'll discuss one of the prayers. But before that, we'll just finish that whole comparison that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives. So by this healthy fear of material energy, all the contaminations are cleared and then Krishna takes birth. And that's how Krishna took birth from the womb of Devaki in the prison house of Kamsa. And Vasudev and Devaki are the devotees of Mathura. The mood of devotees in Mathura and Dwarka is different from mood of Brajvasis. So Brajvasis like Yashodamai and Nanda Maharaj, they are fully overtaken by Vatsalya Bhav. They don't see Krishna's majesty or opulence. They see it, but they neglect it. Krishna, in front of them, Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill, but Mother Yashoda says, oh, maybe Nanda Maharaj put his stick, or some other cowherdmen put their stick. My boy is very little, he can't lift the hill. In front of her and everyone else, he is lifting the hill, but they don't believe it. Because their Vatsalya or other primary rasas are so much empowering them that they can't see Krishna's majesty as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then in Dwarka, they actually can see Krishna's majesty. That's why in Dwarka he does not have his flute. He has his turban, his attire as a king. And in Mathura, Devaki and Vasudev, their mood is somewhere in the middle. Sometimes they can see Krishna as the Supreme Lord, all-powerful, source of knowledge, source of all beauty. And sometimes their Vatsalya overpowers them. Sometimes they see Krishna as their baby, little baby. So when Krishna was born in the prison house and he exhibited himself in the four-armed form, Narayan form, So now Vasudev and Devaki, they recited their prayers. So in their prayers, Devaki was saying that, "O Supreme Lord, you have this wonderful form, but how can I hide this form from Kamsa? He has killed my 6 children. He will come to kill you also. So please turn into a baby so I can hide you." So now this is a contradiction. In one place she is saying you are the Supreme Lord, then she is afraid that Kamsa will kill the Supreme Lord. How is this possible? So this is the mood or bhava of Devaki and Vasudeva. It's somewhere in the middle. Because as we know, Krishna goes, initially he was born in Mathura, but very quickly transferred to Vrindavan. And then for 11 years, I think, he was in Vrindavan. And then he goes to Mathura, kills Kamsa, and then later on erects his fort in Dwarka. So all these moods we can see by reading 10th canto and Krishna book. We can see how devotees interact with Krishna in these different rasas. So now, just before Krishna's birth, Krishna is within the womb of Devaki. And the demigods appear. And Devaki is in the prison house of Kamsa. So she is also afraid. And demigods come and they recite different prayers to Krishna within the womb, because they knew that Krishna is about to be born. Because as we know, as in the beginning of the Krishna book, it is said that Mother Earth, in the form of a cow, along with Lord Brahma and other demigods, they all go to the shore of Milk Ocean and pray to the Lord, because the earth was overburdened by demoniac people, asuras. So they were in distress, demigods and Mother Earth were in distress. So Lord assured, he sent a message through the heart of Brahma. As we were discussing Veda Garbha, he gets the knowledge and communication through the heart. Tene Brahma Hidaya Adi Kaviye. So he gets this knowledge that, and Lord said, I will appear very soon in the Yadu dynasty, and demigods should also take birth. Because when Krishna appears, the older relatives have to take birth earlier. Just as in the pastime of Mahaprabhu also, we see that Shachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra, Nilambar Chakravarti and all other associates, Advaita Acharya, they took birth before Ishwar Puri, etc. They took birth before Mahaprabhu. In the same way, Krishna Leela also. All these elderly people, they took birth before. And Lord's appearance is totally planned and very well choreographed. So he sends the elderly people and relatives before his appearance. So Lord Brahma told the demigods that you should appear in Yadu dynasty so that you can take care of Krishna and have pastimes with him. So these demigods, they knew that. So now when Krishna is within the womb, some demigods have come and they are praying. So we'll just discuss one of the prayers briefly. And it's a very nice prayer, you must have heard. There's the word Satya in this prayer quite a lot. I didn't count, but it's 8 or 10 times. So here it says Satya Vratam, Satya Param Tri Satyam, Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satye, Satyasya Satyam Rita Satya Netram, Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapanna. So here they refer to Krishna as Satya Vratam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead who never deviates from his vow. Very soon we'll have Kartik month coming and different devotees take different vratas or vows. and sometimes they take a very difficult vow. They may not be able to fulfill it. So we should take a vow which realistically we can fulfill. But for Krishna, whatever vow he takes, he can fulfill it because he is supremely powerful. So Prabhupada actually explains which vow are demigods referring to. So Krishna says, he actually declares his vow in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever there will be adharma or dharmasya glani, the religion will go down. To re-establish the principles of religion, I will appear. So that was his vow. And to honor this vow, the Lord appeared. So that's why demigods are referring to Krishna as Satyavratam, that your vow is true. You told us you will appear, and now you are appearing. So see, so devotees shouldn't be disheartened by temporary so-called losses in bhakti. In bhakti, there is no loss. But we may think, oh, we are chanting so hard. Why can't we see and talk to Krishna? We just have to be patient. Utsahan nischayat dhairyat. We have to have enthusiasm, patience and determination. And all these come by association of those who have these things. There's always devotees who are more enthusiastic. One example is that it doesn't have to be like that, but generally speaking, those who are younger or those who come to bhakti, who have just come to bhakti, usually they are very enthusiastic. Those who have just come to bhakti, they are given special enthusiasm by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the beginning. Then as we go forward, move through the years, we have to work harder to get the same enthusiasm. But at every time there is someone who has that fresh enthusiasm, so we can associate with them without pride that, oh, he's just a new devotee. But he has got something which we don't have in one sense. They have this fresh enthusiasm given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why you see new devotees, they jump and dance, and after some time, of course due to age also, but doesn't have to do anything with age. We can be enthusiastic. And same with patience and determination. If we associate with those who have that, we will get it also. It's contagious in a good sense. So Satyavratam, Satyaparam. Satyaparam means who is the absolute truth. In the first verse of Bhagavatam also, it's mentioned, Satyam Param Dhimahi. So he's the absolute truth, the Supreme Lord. And then he's called Tri Satyam. Tri Satyam means he is always present as absolute truth before the creation of cosmic manifestation, during the maintenance, and even after its annihilation. So he is the absolute truth in all three phases of time: before creation, during the maintenance of the universe, and after the annihilation. So recently we were, at the moment actually we are reading first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita in our Brahmachari ashram. So Gopavindesh Prabhu was explaining the first verse of Chatur Shloki, which is there in the first chapter. Aham evasam evagre nanyat sad asat param paschad aham yadeta cha yo vashishyeta sosmeham. So here the word aham means I is mentioned 3 times. And that is related to Tri Satyam, which means before the creation, during the maintenance of this cosmic manifestation, and after the annihilation of this cosmic manifestation, Lord exists. So before the creation, Lord was there in Golok Vrindavan. During the maintenance, Lord is still there in Golok Vrindavan, but within this cosmic manifestation, he appears in different avatars. He is present as Paramatma. He is present in the form of different energies and opulences. And then, after this cosmic manifestation is annihilated, he will still be there in Golok Vrindavan. So that's why he is called Tri Satyam. So like that, there's a lot of description here. We can have a whole class on this verse, but that's another time. So Lord is about to appear, and what mood should devotees have? Devotees should have a welcoming mood, especially during Janmashtami, but we can have that mood every day of the year, but at least during Janmashtami. That Lord is about to appear. Let Lord appear in our heart. And by healthy fear of Maya, we can get rid of anarthas and make our heart clean, because Lord is supremely pure. To invite a special guest, we have to clean the house first. So we should have a very proactive mood, and in that way we can be safe from any offenses, any sins. So here, due to presence of these anarthas and effect of the modes, we see that Soma made a big mistake. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, one example I wanted to share of not a devotee, one person called Gopal Chakravarti. He was an official under Raghunath Das's father and uncle. They were big landlords. So this person used to work with them. And then one time, Raghunath Das's father and uncle, they arranged a meeting of Vaishnavas in which Haridas Thakur was also invited. So there, they started, during that meeting, they started a discussion about the holy name. And who else is better than Haridas Thakur to say something about the glory of holy name? So he said that you can get liberation merely by namabhas, a shadow of pure name. So this statement by Haridas Thakur agitated Gopal Chakravarti, who was kind of a Mayavadi. And he challenged Haridas Thakur, what are you saying? You know, so many yogis, jnanis, for years and lifetimes, they tried to achieve liberation. They cannot achieve liberation. And you are saying just by mere a shadow of pure name, you can get liberation? And then he challenged that if this is not true, I'll cut your nose. So in India, this is a very big insult. If someone says, I'll cut your nose, nose means your existence or your pride, you know. If you're insulted, means it's like cutting your nose. So it's a big offense, big insult actually. Because if someone's nose is cut, you know, they'll not look very pretty. Shruplaka's nose was cut by Lakshman, I think. So anyway, so he said that, and all the assembly members, they were shocked to hear this. And Haridas Thakur was calm. So when a devotee is offended, he never minds it, because a devotee thinks he is very low. A devotee is humble, so he doesn't take any offense personally. He thinks I am very low, so devotee thinks no one can offend me. So a devotee does not retaliate, but others who are present, they should retaliate. So others were feeling very bad, but Haridas Thakur said, why do you doubt? This is the conclusion of the scriptures. So if this is not true, I'll cut my own nose. He said like that. So anyway, the bosses, Raghunath Das's father and uncle, they fired this official. And very soon he actually got the disease of leprosy, in which your limbs actually rot and fall away, some fingers. So his nose melted, and such a person can actually not stay with others. So in old days, when leprosy was very common, so those who had leprosy, they would be on the outskirts of the village. So he was there, this person. And Mahaprabhu was walking past that way, and somehow this person had some faith that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord. So he begged mercy from Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu said, you have offended a great Vaishnava. I'll not give you my mercy. You'll rot in hell for many lifetimes. But later on, because he asked for mercy, later on Mahaprabhu excused him like that. So this is what happens if we offend great personalities. So here Soma has offended demigod's guru, Brihaspati. Such a great offense. So we have to be very careful. We have to daily hear from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in association of devotees and save ourselves from this contamination and progress in bhakti. So I would like to end there and see if you have any questions or comments on what we discussed. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you were talking about Maya and you stated that verse that Krishna says that Mama Maya Duratyaya, that his Maya is very difficult to avoid. So I was wondering, Srila Prabhupada also writes that, when a jiva in this spiritual sky in Goloka Vrindavan, when he starts to misuse his free will, which is like he starts developing the desire to enjoy separately from Krishna, then Maya lets him fall down into the material world, into the earthly planet. So my question is that how is Maya able to let that jiva fall down? Because Maya is only in the material world, and you also said that, that she only operates in the material world.
So how Maya pulls such a devotee? So yeah, this is what happens. Devotee is there in the spiritual world. This is a frequently asked question in ISKCON, that how did we come here when we were there with Krishna? How is this possible? Krishna is supremely attractive. How could we reject him and come here? So Prabhupada gives an example of, it's not that the jivas developed distaste for Krishna. They were attracted to Krishna, and the example given is, if you like some eatable, Prabhupada gives example of rice, dal, chapati. If you like that, and you can eat that daily, and you like it so much, but one day you just think, what would be pizza like? It's not that you have developed distaste for rice, dal, chapati, but just a thought came, what would be pizza like? So in that, similarly, in the spiritual world, the jiva thinks that yes, we are very happy with Krishna in his pastimes. What would it be like enjoying separately? And at that instance, jiva falls down. Ichha dvesh samuttena dvandva mohena bharata. At that stage, because of the desire to enjoy separately, the jiva is captured by duality of this material world. There is no duality in spiritual world. So it's instantaneous. And then we go through various species in various planets, and then Brahmand, Brahmite, Kon, Bhagyavan Jeev. Then one fortunate soul, he contacts a devotee, and by mercy of devotee, he regains his position. So Maya is there within this world. She is a thankless taskmaster. She's there as a servant of Krishna. She helps jivas to forget Krishna. Mahamaya helps jivas to forget Krishna as a service to Krishna. Because jivas have minute independence. Real love can only be there when there is independence. So Krishna has given a minute independence to jivas to love him, serve him, or not to do that. So if someone desires not to serve him, then Maya actually starts her job. And then by contact of devotees, the jiva again desires to serve Krishna. And then Maya tests, do you really want to serve Krishna? And then if we persist in good association, then Maya loosens her grip on the devotee. And Maya becomes mercy, Maya becomes helpful for a devotee to go to Krishna. Then the example is, if you are walking towards the temple and there is a dog chasing you, so and if you are afraid of dog, you move faster and run. So dog helped you to reach the temple faster. So in that way, when Maya attacks a devotee goes to Krishna faster. Krishna help me. So Maya is mercy for a devotee. So we should never hate Maya. We should pay our obeisances and surrender to Krishna. Any other question or comment? Okay. Thank you very much. Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.